Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to learn how we can implement jQuery data table in our Laravel application. You can create this buttons to export the data table in CSV, Excel, PDF, or you can print this also with a click of a button. You can create drag and drop of the rows, so you can order the records the way you want, all of them based on the AJAX. And there we also have a search, global search, where you can type and it will load your text. We also have ordering of the rows. You can order it by any column you want, ascending and descending. And at the end, we also have pagination, all of them with the jQuery data table and AJAX. So let's see how we can build this. First of all, we have to come to our datatables.net website and click the download button. Then in here, we have to select our data table, which one we want. For example, I want Bootstrap 5, and I will select all the extensions that I want. For example, I want column ordering, fixed header, HTML5 export, JSAP, PDF maker, print view, all these extensions I want. So I will select all of them and scroll down. I will come to download, then click the download files. Okay, the download is finished. Now we have to come and unzip downloaded file. When the unzip is finished, then we have to add all these libraries into our project. So let's add them. Let's open our project, and in here, let's in our public assets, let's create a new folder with the name of data tables, and add all these libraries inside this folder. So I will drag and drop all of them. Okay, adding. So by the time it's adding, let's go to our web routes, web.php, and in here create our first route to display our data table. So for that, I will create route view data table, and I will create a new folder with the name of data table.index. So let's go and create our new folder in the resources, views, and in here let's create our new folder with the name of data table, and inside here a new file, index.blade.php, and let's add our layout in here. So we will type extends layouts.app, and we have in here a section with the name of head. Let's in this one in section, then another section content in this one as well, and the last section for our script. Now let's add our styles, data table, and bootstrap. So I will add it in the here. I will add bootstrap and data table.main.css styles in the head, and I will also import the scripts for data tables. Now let's create our table. So let's go to our content section. In here, let's add an h2 tag and write countries data table. I will create a card div. Inside card div, I will create a card body. Then my table, and we have to give it an ID. So I will give it countries table ID and class of table. Then table head and tr th. The first column will be ID. Then name. After that, order number. So order number, then created at updated add and one last column for my buttons. So th and action. Now let's go to our browser and refresh our page. Yeah, the table is, as you can see, the table has been created. Now let's go and create our jQuery data table script. So let's come in the script section in here and write our script. So let's add a script tag, and in here $document dot ready function. Inside this function, we will create a variable with the name of table and assign it with the ID of our table. So let's copy this from here and paste it here. After this, then dot data table, and inside this, because we are going to fetch our data from the server, so we are going to write processing and set it to true. Another one, server side, and set this one also to true. Then after that, the AJAX URL. So I will type AJAX and set the URL in here. For now, URL empty. Then after creating the URL, I will add the URL here. After the AJAX, then I have to define my columns. So I will type columns, and in here I will create an array. Inside here I will define my column names. So first thing, data, and it will be the ID, the first column. After the first column, then I want the name. So again I will type data and name. Now let's copy this up to here so it will be easy. After the name, I want the order number. Then create it at and updated at. In my last column, I want the delete and update button. So instead of data, I will type render function data type and row as a parameter, and return string input. Then I will type my buttons input type is equal to button with the class of btn success, and edit button, and give it a value of edit. Then one more button for the delete. So I will type input type, again button, this time class of btn danger, and a value of delete. Okay, we are done. Now let's go to our web.php again. In here, let's create our route to get the data. So I will type route ::get and countries. Then after that, inside countries controller ::class. In here, the method is index. So index. Now let's go to our controller and create this method. So let's go to our files, app, http controllers, and country controller. In here, let's create our method. Let's type public function index and request $request. Let's type $, create a variable with the name of countries and get our data. So countries all, and let's return this as a JSON. So return response JSON, and inside an array create a variable data and countries. Let's add a semicolon here. Let's copy countries from here, paste it inside the AJAX URL. Now let's go to our web browser, refresh our page. So as you guys can see, we got our data, but the problem is that we got all our data at once. So if our data is too long, it will take too much time to load. So we need to apply the pagination in here. In this pagination is currently not working. We have to add our own paginations so we can load part of our data per page. So let's go back to our VS Code and create the pagination. So let's go back to our countries controller. In here, let's change all to query for now and type total, create a variable with the name of total and set it to countries count to get the total of our records. Then after that, we will create another variable with the name of items and set it to countries escape dorsal request start and take dorsal request length. Then get function. After that, inside our return, then we have to send the draw that we get from the request. So request draw, and we also have to send the records total. So we will type records total is equal to total, and the last thing that we have to send from the controller would be record filtered. For now, filtered. For now, let's set it also to total. Now let's go back to our browser, refresh our page. In the state of right now, in the state of data, we have to send the items. So let's copy this, paste it here. Let's go back, refresh. Now we got our data and the pagination is also working. So if I come inspect and click the network tab, now let's change the page number. As you guys can see, it will send a request to the server and get the page number data. So if I click the last page, I will get the last page record. Or if I click the first page, I will get the first page record. Now let's see how we can create the search functionality. Now if I type Afghanistan in here, you guys will notice nothing will happen. It will not give me the correct result. Or if I type here Sudan, nothing. So let's see how we can fix the search here. So let's go back to our VS Code, and in here, let's create a variable with the name of search and assign it to request search and value. Now let's remove this query from here. In here, let's type when $search. If it has a value, then function query as a parameter, $query, where name like $search. Let's use it here also. Let's type use $search. Okay, it's done. This is the code. Now let's go to our browser, and in here now let's type Afghanistan. As you guys can see, I got the result. If I type here Syria, I will get the Syria. Or if I type here Turkey, I don't have any. Let's type Hungary. Yeah, I got the result. So this is how we can create the search functionality. Now let's see how we can fix the ordering part, so we can order our data based on each column. So let's go out back to our VS Code, and after the search variable in here, I will create another variable with the name of columns for order by, and I will make it an array. Then I will type my column names. So ID, name, order number, created by, and updated by. Then I will create another variable with the name of order by column, so I can assign the column which comes from the request. So let's type request order 0 and column in here. So the order will come as an array from the jQuery data table, and you can get the column from it using this method. Then one more variable for order direction, and I will assign request order again 0 and this time direction, so dir. Now in here in my query, I will type order by and columns for order by. Then inside the array, I will say $sign order by column and the directions $sign order direction. Okay, now let's go back to our project and click name. As you guys can see, it ordered based on name. If I click order by number, it will order based on the number. Same for created at. Okay, I misspelled something here maybe. Created at and create updated at. Okay, let's go and click back. Yeah. Let's click the ID also. Yeah. So this is how we will create order by in jQuery data table and Laravel. Now let's go back to our index.blade.php file. In here, let's set by default the ordering to order number. So in here, after the columns, I will type order, and inside array, I will create another array, and I will type then the index number of the order number, which is 0, 1, 2. So in here I will type by 2, and the direction should be ascending, so AC. Now if I come to browser and refresh, as you guys can see, by default it's ordered based on the order number, and if I click here, it's now descending, now ascending. So this, you can also set the default ordering column. Now let's change our number of results that we want to see to 25. So for that, I will come and below this, I will type page length is equal to 25 per page. So now let's go refresh. Now it automatically select the 25. You can change it also to 100. Now if we go back, refresh, as you guys can see, we got 100. So let's change it back to 25. Now let's add our buttons in here. We want to export our records to PDF, Excel, CSV, or if you guys want to print it. So let's add our buttons in here. So let's go. So first of all, we have to import the libraries in here. So I will import the style. So this is the library that we are going to use, data table buttons, and buttons.datatable.main.css. This for the style, and let's import the script as well, and let's import the So for the scripts, first of all, we need buttons, datatable.button.min.js, JSA, PDF make, base fonts, and button.html5. These are the scripts that is required to use the buttons. So let's scroll down, and after the page length, in here I will type DOM, and in here I will type BFR tip. Then after that I will type buttons, and inside the buttons array I will type the buttons that I want. For example, I want copy, CSV, Excel, then PDF, and print. So these buttons that I want. So let's go and refresh our page. As you guys can see, the buttons will appear. So if I click this CSV, Excel, or PDF, it will export my data. So let's open one of them. So let's click open file. As you guys see that my data has been exported. Similarly, I can also click the print button, and it will display the print dialog, and I can print it. So for now, let's cancel. Now let's see how we can create the edit part. So we can click, whenever the user click the edit, it should automatically change this to input box, and the user can edit it in line. So let's see how we can build this. Let's open our VS Code. After the buttons, in here I will type column diff, and in here I will open an array. Inside the array I will create an object. Then I will type the target and select my name column. So target is equal to the index of my name column, which is this one. So 0 and 1. After that, I will type render, and in here I will type a callback function, data type and row as a parameter. Then return div, because we want to change the text to a input field inside a div. So in here I will type div and give it a class of edit table. Then give it a data attribute of name and set it to name. Then data pk to save the primary key in here. So I will data pk is equal to row.id and display the data. After that, in here I want to change the text to input field when the user click the edit button. So I will create a on click function in here. So let's type the countries dash table dot on click of edit button, then a callback function, create a variable of this and store row that I want to edit. So $this and another variable with the name of edit table, and this dot closest tr dot find edit table. So up to here we just create a function that when the user click the edit, it should display the input field. Now let's add one condition in here to check if it's already open or not. So if not editable dot has class of editing, in that case create a new variable, current value is equal to $editable dot text dot trim, and editable dot add class of editing. At the end, editable dot html display the input field input type is equal to text, class is equal to form control, and value is equal to current value. Okay, let's close this and it start kids. Okay, now let's go to our browser, refresh our page, click the edit button. Yeah, change it to input field. But now if we type anything in here and click outside, it will not save it to the database and it will not change it back to the text. So let's go and create that function. So let's scroll down in here, and in here let's create an event listener for on focus out. So I will type countries table dot on focus out of dot edit table input function. Then inside it here I will create a variable with the name of this to save this input field. So this dollar sign this, and another variable again dollar sign the table is equal to dollar sign this closes dot edit table, and let's take the primary key. So pk is equal to dollar sign edit table dot data pk, and another variable for value. So var doesn't this val. So up to now we got all the values that we want. Now it's time to create our AJAX. So let's type here dollar sign dot AJAX, and inside our AJAX first thing URL. So I will keep it empty for now. Then method is post. Then after that I will send the headers to send the CSRF token headers, and in here x CSRF dash token is equal to dollar sign meta name is equal to CSRF token dot attr attribute content. Then after that we have to send our data. So I will type data, and the ID would be primary key pk and the name to value. Then we can create our success function. So success function response, and you can type any logic if you want. So for now I will type console.log response, and we can also type our error if we face any error. So error function error, and in here let's do same console.log error. Now after everything is saved and successful, so let's exit the input field. So I will type edit table dot remove class and editing, and edit table dot html is equal to value. Okay, let's create our meta tag in the head. So in here let's type our meta tag. So meta name is equal to CSRF dash token and content CSRF token. Let's close this. Now let's go and create our route and controller for this. So let's go to web.php. In here let's type route post and countries update, and let's go to countries controller. So countries controller class and update method. Now let's go inside the controller and create this method. So in the down I will type public function update and request $request as a parameter, then $item is equal to countries find or field $request dash id, which we get from the request, then $item name is equal to request name and $item update. Then also let's send the response as well. So this response JSON updated successfully. Okay, let's copy our URL also in our AJAX. So let's copy this. Let's go to our AJAX. Let's type URL and our. Now let's go to browser and test our editing. So let's go refresh. Okay, we in here instead of we have to add comma. So let's go back. Let's refresh. Okay, let's click the edit button. Showing it's type 1 2 3. Click outside. It's updated. Now if I refresh also, yeah, it's updated. Now let's refresh one more time. Good. Now let's see how we can create the row drag and drop or reordering the rows. So let's go back to our VS Code and create that function. First of all, in our VS Code, we have to import the CSS and JS libraries of reordering. So let's import that. Okay, I have already imported the row ordering datatable.main CSS. After this, let's add the script as well. So let's add the script datatable.reordering here. Then inside our table in here, after call diff that we wrote for editing, in here I will type row reorder, and inside this I will type data source and say based on which column I want to reorder. So in this case, row order number and update false. If we don't write this one, it will automatically refresh our data table and get the latest data, but we don't want, so we don't want it to refresh after dragging and dropping the rows. So that's why I will type this as a false. So now let's go to our browser, refresh. Okay, now if I click here, and as you guys can see, I can drag and drop my rows and reorder them. But if I refresh my page, it will not save the changes. As you guys can see, it will bring back the old order. So for this, we have to create an event listener, so it can send the data back to our servers, so we can update our records. Now let's come to our code in here. After the row editing, then in here we have to type our function event listener for reordering. So I will type table dot on row reorder function and def and edit as a parameter. Then inside this function, I will create a for loop to get all the IDs and order of the changed rows. So I is equal to 0, in is equal to def dot length I in and I plus plus, where row data is equal to table dot row def of I dot node, and in here dot data. After that, row data dot order number is equal to dev I dot new data. Then table dot row dev I dot node dot data row data. Now let's get the new order of the row. So for that I will type var new order is equal to table dot rows dot data dot to array dot map and function row return row dot order number. Then we also have to get the IDs. So I will type var IDs is equal to table dot rows dot data dot to array and again dot to map function row return row dot id. So up to here we got our row order number and row id. Now we have to create a AJAX function to send it to the server side. So let's type our AJAX. So $sign dot AJAX type post. Again, let's copy the header from here. URL, let's for now empty. Then data, we want to send the ID. So ID is equal to IDs and order number is equal to new order. Then the success function data and console.log data. Now let's go to our web.php. In here, let's create our route. So route : post and countries / reordering. Then in the countries controller : class and reorder. So let's create this method. Let's go to our controller. In here, let's create a new method with the name of public function reorder and set the request $request as a parameter. Then inside this, we will create a for loop. So for $i is equal to 0, $i until it's smaller than count of $request dash id $i plus plus and $item is equal to countries find or fail request dash id and $i $item. Then set the order number. So $item order number is equal to request order number of $i. Then $item dash update, and at the end let's send a response also. So return response JSON order saved successfully. So done. Now let's go to our browser. Let's refresh. Okay, it came. Let's reorder and refresh. We forgot to update the URL. So let's copy the URL from our route. Paste it in here. URL. And now let's go back. Let's refresh. Okay, now if I put the British in the first, and refresh back. Yeah, as you guys can see, the order has changed. Now, if I put the Latvia to first, Hungary to second, refresh the page again. Yeah, as you guys can see, the order has been changed. So this is how we can create the reordering and jQuery data table. So our buttons are done, our export PDF prints are done, sorting is done, and we can also search by name. This one is also done. So this is it for this video, and if you like it, don't forget to press the subscribe, and if you have any questions, write it down in the comments.